Hello everyone, how are you doing? I'm going to be doing a talk tonight on Weight Watchers and the renewing of the mind. How are you doing, Karina? And all the you other guys who joined. I didn't quite see everybody. But what I'd like to do this week is go through a few different types of boundaries and just to see how you would renew your mind with those boundaries and the advantages of that type of weight loss program. Okay, so I'm going to flip it around here quick. Okay, so Weight Watchers is actually what I lost my weight on. I have my little Weight Watchers book, although it wasn't the book that I lost all my weight on, right here. I'm a lifetime member. I got my little 20% pin, having lost 20% of my body weight. And I don't do Weight Watchers points anymore. I do 3 meals a day, and I'll do another scope on that later. But one of the problems with Weight Watchers is that, at least, I'm not sure how it is now, but at least when I was doing it, you get a certain number of points per day. Does anybody know if that's still how it works, where you get a certain number of points per day? So So I got 25 points a day, okay? A lot of times by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd have 3 points left, right? So I just eat all my points and I keep saying, oh, I'll just have less points for supper. Okay, I'll just have soup for supper, or the no calorie soup. Okay, the problem is if you have 22 points by lunch, you're probably going to break it. And of course I always did. So I never stuck to the 25 points if I had 22 points for lunch. So this is what you would do if you wanted to renew your mind with Weight Watchers. And let me just tell anybody who isn't familiar with the renewing the mind. Oh yeah, I won't eat any points tomorrow. That's such a funny one. I didn't even think of that one. That's a good one. Okay, so if you're not familiar with the renewing the mind, go to my blog, barbravling.com. You'll find information on the renewing the mind, weight loss Bible studies. And so I'm not going to go into that on this scope since I've already talked about that other places. So what you would do if you wanted to incorporate the renewing the mind with Weight Watchers is you assign a certain number of points to each meal. So I think what I did is I said I could have 4 points for breakfast, I could have 8 points for lunch, and I think, so that's 12. And then I probably said I could have 3 points for a snack and I had to save 10 points for supper. So that way I would renew my mind whenever I broke any of those weight loss boundaries. So if I had 5 points for breakfast, I'd have to renew my mind. See, does that make sense? If I had 10 points for lunch, I'd have to renew my mind. So if I had 4 for breakfast and 8 for lunch, that's 12 by lunch. So if I had 2 for breakfast, then that would give me 10 for lunch. But the advantage of that is you don't ever get into that point where you hardly have any points left for supper. And you have, that way you also have 4 opportunities to renew your mind throughout the day. Because technically, if your weight loss boundaries are 25 points a day, if that's what your boundaries are, you could say, well, I don't have to renew my mind until I eat my 26th point. But you want to be renewing your mind throughout the day. So that's just a quick little tip on how to do this with Weight Watchers. And one last tip I have with Weight Watchers is if you're not planning to count points for the rest of your life, I would consider trying to incorporate your lifelong boundaries into Weight Watchers while you're losing weight. So for example, my lifelong boundaries are 3 meals. For a while, they were 3 meals and 1 snack. So what I would do is I'd try to divide my Weight Watchers points up into 3 meals. That way I'm already training myself for lifelong boundaries. So then when I go off Weight Watchers and switch to 3 meals a day, I already have that habit developed of not eating snacks. So does anybody have any other questions about Weight Watchers? I just kind of want to do a few of these scopes to kind of have as a resource for people using different boundaries and having different questions. That way they'll be on the blog. Okay, well, if there's no other questions, thanks you guys for stopping by. I know this is a really short one. My friend Heidi is here this week, and we've been doing a lot of hiking, so I haven't been here. Did you count points for a certain time after you lost weight? I'm trying to think if I did. I'm guessing that probably for a while I just kind of did mentally. In fact, I might have, when I switched to 3 meals a day, I bet I did the 3 meals a day, and then maybe at the end of the night, I might have counted it up to see how many points that was. Yeah, to transition to lifelong boundaries. I do think that'd be a good idea. And I'm going to do another scope sometime within the next week. I'll do another scope on how to lose weight and maintain weight on 3 meals a day. So I'll talk about that a little bit then. But I definitely think if you don't want to count points all your life and you were going to switch to 3 meals, it'd be helpful to have those 3 meals and then at the end of the day, count up the points. And actually, you know what another nice thing about having 3 meals and 1 snack or a small amount of eating occasions with Weight Watchers? It's easier to remember what you ate for counting points. Because I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't always very good about recording the points as soon as I ate them. But if I didn't record them and I only had breakfast and lunch and a snack, and then all of a sudden by 3 o'clock I think, oh, I need to record them, it's easier to remember what I ate because I wasn't eating nonstop all day, if that makes sense. You have any other questions about Weight Watchers? I also thought when I did Weight Watchers, I always went to the meetings. I didn't always stay for the meetings, but just that scale, knowing I was going to have to weigh, that's what made me stick to my boundaries the week before. So it's almost like the scale was an accountability tool. So if you guys are doing Weight Watchers, I would consider doing it locally where you actually have to go in and weigh. I think that's really helpful. Plus you have all those other people, you know, the camaraderie of other people losing weight, which is kind of nice. Yeah, and we still have our little book, so, you know, if I ever wanted to lose weight, I could still use them. How is the best way to pick boundaries? Waiting for hunger does not seem like something I could do. Okay, I think I had a post yesterday on how to choose boundaries. So if you go to katch.me/Barb you could look for ideas on that post. And one of the things I forgot to say in that post is one of the first steps would be to decide, do I want my temporary weight loss boundaries to be the same as my permanent boundaries? I didn't mention that point yesterday, but if you do want to have the same weight loss boundaries as permanent boundaries, well, that might limit your options, or you just want to see what you can live with both to lose weight and to maintain it, I guess. So there's all kinds of different ways to lose weight, but you just want to try and choose a healthy one, and none of them will be perfect. So we have to recognize there is no perfect set of boundaries will make weight loss fun and easy. That's pretty good, pretty important to recognize right from the beginning. It's going to be hard no matter what boundaries you choose. So in a way you could say what's the best option if you want to be the Pollyanna, or you could say what's the least worst option. You know what I mean? But it's worth it, guys. It's definitely worth putting in the effort. And you know what? Actually, somebody told me once, in a way, I kind of like going on a diet because at least I know I'm going to be eating in control. You know how it's not very fun to eat out of control all the time? Even though you can't eat that much when you're trying to lose weight, it is kind of nice to feel like you're in control. So maybe if you think of it that way, it won't be so bad. Okay, any other questions? Okay, that's great, you guys. I hope you have a good night. Hope you follow your boundaries the rest of the night. I bet you guys are doing great. I hope so. If not, go renew your mind. Okay, you guys, have a good